Okay, everyone. This lecture is going to be very quickly going over the cardiac muscle tissue. A lot of the stuff we've already covered before, but it doesn't hurt to go over it again. Once again, cardiac muscle tissue is found only in the heart. It's right in the name, right? Cardiac. What cardiac muscle tissue allows is for highly coordinated contractions that allow the cardiac muscle to pump blood into the vessels of the circulatory system. So similar to skeletal muscle, it is striated and it's organized into the sarcomeres, right? The ability for them to contract. Um, and it also possesses that same banding organization because of the alternating actin and myosin. Some differences are that the cardiac muscle fibers are shorter than skeletal muscle fibers, and they usually only contain one nucleus, which is located right in the central region of the cell. I actually put this on the exam if you were lucky enough to get this image. This is what it looks like. Cardiac muscle fibers are going to contain a lot of mitochondria and that myoglobin that we talked about that stores oxygen. And it produces a lot of ATP because it has to go through because it goes through the aerobic respiration. One other really important differentiating factor that will help you understand what you're looking at is that cardiac muscle fibers are branched and they're connected to each other at their ends, and we call those intercalated discs. So we talked about that a little bit before. An intercalated disc will allow cardiac muscle cells to contract in that wave-like pattern so that the heart can essentially work as a pump and pump out the blood to the rest of the body. Those intercalated discs are part of the sarcolemma, and they have two important structures that I want to talk about. So basically, both of these structures are going to support muscle contraction. So the first are the gap junctions, and the second are the desmosomes. So we talked about gap junctions a little bit before, but gap junctions form channels between adjacent muscle fibers. And basically what they allow is for that depolarizing current that basically causes cations to flow from one muscle cell to the next. They allow that to flow easily through adjacent cells. That's called electric coupling. And basically, it's basically what allows the heart to pump all at the same time. And then the next is a desmosome, and that is the structure that anchors the ends of cardiac muscle fibers together so that when the heart, if you've ever looked at the heart is pumping very vigorously, and the desmosomes basically anchors all those cells together so they don't pull apart during that stress of continuous contracting. So heartbeats are, the next thing I want to talk about are pacemaker cells, and they're basically the specialized cells that control heart rate. So you can't consciously speed up your heart, but the pacemaker cells actually do get signals from your automatic basically, nervous system, and it speeds up or slows down the heart rate depending on those signals. Basically what happens is they get the signals, and then they are what is called a functional syncytium, basically, which means that they basically can sync up, is how I like to think about it, the whole rest of the heart. This group of cells is self-excitable, and basically what it means is they're able to depolarize by themselves. So we call that autorhythmicity. And basically what they do is they set intervals which determines the heart rate. And so since they're connected with those gap junctions, they're able to just send out those signals very quickly to the neighboring cells. I think that's where I'm going to stop it on this one. Look back forward to the next one for the chapter on smooth muscle.